So today I'm making a video about the 5 maintenance tips that you're gonna need to do in the spring. And I thought to make this video because it's something that when somebody purchases a home from me, I give them these reminders to check this stuff. This is gonna be good for me to send the video out to people I've already sold homes to, so I'm not repeating myself. Also, if you're thinking about buying a home in the area, it just gives you some education on maybe how this area might be different than what you could be used to in other areas of town. If you own a home in the Adams County or Valley County area, this video is to give you tips on things that you need to check in the springtime or things that you need to do, routine maintenance, things to prepare for that you can only do really in the spring and summer. If this is your first time to the channel, I'm Teia Golden, and this channel is all about McCall. So if you're thinking about moving to the area now or 2 years from now, feel free to reach out anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So in the spring in Valley County, something that we have to deal with are noxious weeds. You want to take care of these weeds. If you see these things coming up in your yard, you want to either pick them or spray them to kill them before they start to seed and spread. They're really just a pain in the ass to have in your yard. They get spiky thorns and can cause lots of problems, so you definitely want to get rid of them. Something that you might not think about living here in Valley and Adams County is our temperatures. So in the spring and the summer are the only times really where you can do any kind of touch-up paint, staining, or oiling, linseed oil on the exterior of your home. So if the exterior of your home needs some sort of maintenance, make sure to get that scheduled in the summer when the temperatures are warm enough for the paint to set. The third thing is a lot of people don't go into their crawl spaces. It's just an area that people don't go to, but I highly recommend that even if you just lift up your crawl space cover and poke your head down in there and look around, you don't actually have to get into it, that you just check it out. And what you're looking for is one, that you don't see moisture anywhere. That's the big one, that you don't see any sort of moisture, any sort of animals that have tried to come into your crawl space. This is something I recommend that everybody check in the springtime. If your home has a sump pump, and that's to mitigate water from staying into your crawl space, you want to make sure that in the springtime when all the snow is melted, that sump pump is kicked on and is pumping the water out from your crawl space. I've seen situations where people have lived in their house for 3+ years and they've never checked their crawl space, and when it comes time to sell, we check their crawl space and there are problems. And the problems are so much bigger than what they would have been if they would have just checked their crawl space. And the best time to do that's in the spring. As you come into spring and summer, you're not going to be using your fireplace anymore. So this is the best time of year to get your chimney swept. Whenever you're constantly using that fireplace, it can build up residue on the sides of the stack, and cleaning that chimney reduces your fire risk. And the best time to have that done is going to be in the spring or summer when you're not going to be using it. Also, collecting firewood or getting your firewood permit or purchasing firewood from somebody and having a dry, safe place to store it away from your home, getting ready for the next season. That's something that also happens usually in the summertime in Valley and Adams County. Based on my own experience, we get our chimney swept once a year and the cost is about $250. They also check inside. There are bricks inside of some chimneys, and they check to make sure all those are insulating from the heat, keeping the heat inside. So they do all around. Not only do they sweep your chimney, but they also do a sort of safety inspection to make sure everything's working properly. And when you have this done every year in the summertime, it can ward off any fire hazards that if you're not getting it inspected and having the maintenance done, you could end up with fires in the winter. So this helps prevent that. So whenever people buy wood up here, it's usually, or whenever people are selling wood in Valley and Adams County, it's not wood that they cut last season and it's been sitting. It's wood that they've cut just recently. They have gone out to the forest. They have a truck full of wood that they've cut. And so unlike, down in Boise where you can buy seasoned wood maybe from the store, here you're buying unseasoned wood that was just recently cut. So what we like to do is purchase it in June. Sometimes we even like to buy more than we need. That way that it can kind of sit for a full year before we use it for the next year. That way it's really nice and dry and a lot more, I don't know, it just seems easier to light fires that way when it's not a fresh chopped piece of wood. The fifth thing that you need to do on routine maintenance in the spring and summer especially is checking your water filter. The ground seems to have more snow melt, which can cause more mineral runoff. And if you're going to need to replace your water filter, if it's one that you only replace once a year, or if you replace it twice a year, it's just something that you should check. Some people, when they purchase in McCall or in New Meadows or Donley, their house will have a whole house water filtration system. And if they haven't lived in a house before that has one, they don't necessarily know that that is a maintenance item or something they should be checking to change. I've heard before where people are like, I don't know, my water's just, it's turning brown, and then I'm like, well, do you have a whole house filtration system? And they're like, I don't know. So then we go there and check. I'm like, yep, here it is. This is your system. How long have you lived here? You haven't changed out your filter. So we shut off the main water supply and we get their filter changed. They're so much cheaper if you order them on Amazon in advance. If you have to buy one from the local store, they're like twice as much, but it's something that you definitely want to check and change out. And it seems like, with the snow melt, that there's more minerals coming through in the spring, and that even though you might not have one that's changed that often, in the springtime is usually when they need to be changed. So we're coming into summertime, which is when McCall is at the height of its tourism industry. People love coming here for the summer. So if you want to know more about McCall in the summer, check out this video, Best Beaches in McCall, Idaho.